Trainer Joe's 10 Rules for Weight Loss, Part 2. We are back. I don't think we wait around. Blah, blah, blah. Let's do it. Trainer Joe, what is number 6? Oh, by the way, make sure you go watch Part 1. You're going to want to watch that, obviously.
Yeah.
That'll be linked in the description. Number 6, 10 Rules for Weight Loss. Go.
Number 6, you cannot outrun your fork. Reminds me, I was helping a girl. When I first started, I was doing the fitness with people, and now it's more this stuff. And she was training to run a half marathon, and my wife and I went and watched her run that after some training. She did well, but what astounded me, I'm sitting here watching all these hundreds of people cross the finish line. What amazed me was how many of them were obese.
Wait, hold on. The marathon, full marathon, we're talking 26-ish miles?
Yeah.
You're being serious? Like, it wasn't just like...
13.1 miles.
Oh.
Is what they ran. Half marathon. Half marathon, yeah.
I would maybe suspect 1 or 2 to stroll in, maybe, but you're saying like there was a good
number.
Obese people running 13 miles.
13.1 miles coming across the finish line, and it's like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's both impressive and sad.
Impressive and sad. It's like, are you kidding me? You're gonna put, you don't want to be hard on people because you do want to applaud how hard they're working. That's great. But at the same time, you're like, man, imagine how that would have felt had you been 40 pounds lighter. Because you should be. You shouldn't be out there settling for that. And that's my view. And I know people get so upset with it. They're like, they are working hard. Yeah. They are training. How dare you? Give me a break with that, okay? Give me a break with that, right? I mean, come on. Their knees are begging them to eat differently. Their heart, they're still putting pressure on their body because they haven't figured it out for whatever reason. And it alarmed me. I was like, I cannot believe you can exercise that much and still be obese.
So at the end of the day, if weight loss is your goal and you're thinking, I'm going to just kick butt, hitting the pavement in the gym,
not going to happen.
You got to reshape that too. The kick butt needs to be happening in the kitchen. Number 7.
Well, the last thing on that, number 6,
go ahead.
is you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And that's what you hear saying. You're not going to be able to do that. So that's it. Yeah.
Great. That's good. Number 7.
Number 7 is one of my favorites. Matter of fact, when some people say, just give me one thing to do to help me lose weight. If I just have one practical tip for weight loss,
Let me guess. Is it have to do with night eating?
Yes.
Continue. Night eating.
Don't eat after 7:30.
Cut it off. Kitchen is closed.
Kitchen is closed.
Why is that so key?
Well, you don't need to do it if you're not having a weight issue. I mean, I don't care what time you eat, right? But if you come to me and say, I really want to lose weight, I'm definitely going to tell you, well, don't eat at night. And we got to pick a time or you're not doing it, right? If it's vague, it's not happening. So pick a time.
I see.
And the research I did came up with 7:30. And there's reasons for that. But the main thing is, the problem is not that somebody's eating late. The problem is they're eating again.
It's not that the metabolism is...
it's not all that stuff. It's not the science behind it.
Okay.
You're eating another meal that you did not need. And you might say, well, I didn't have a meal. I don't care what you had. Whatever it was, you did not need it. And you just told me you wanted to lose weight. If you're trying to gain weight, okay. If you don't care, okay. But if you're telling me I want to lose weight, then I would question, why did you eat that meal? Why did you eat that snack? Why did you eat anything when we had a good plan? And the good plan is don't eat after 7:30. Why would you eat after 7:30? Why would you eat after 7:30?
Why would you eat it?
Why would you? Give me the reason why people object to that or have issue with that. What do you think?
My mom was
where's everybody get? Why doesn't everybody do that wants to lose weight?
Don't put me on the spot. My mind was in a different place on the subject.
Okay.
Continue.
one of the benefits of that comes from a quote by Saint Augustine: "Total abstinence is easier than perfect moderation." He starts out, for many, total abstinence is easier. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm just going to eat healthy at night." Forget that. I'm just going to eat a little bit at night. Forget that. You're going to blow it. You're going to blow it. It's just easier to say nothing. Nothing but water. And then you might think about all the reasons that's going to be, it's going to disrupt your life. It's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be difficult. Yes, all that's true. But it's one of the simplest things you can do. So if you're still just playing around and you're just not sure, whatever, then keep playing around. But if you've said, I'm in, I'm ready, I'm going to lose weight, then that ought to be one of the things you do.
And my mind goes to, I just, our culture when it comes to what we eat after dinner, or what we eat, in the 7:30, 8:30, 9.
Yeah.
I just...
How often is that vegetables?
How often is it like quality, wholesome stuff?
Yeah.
It's snacking.
Rarely.
It's snacking / dessert, and oftentimes heavy snacking. What are we doing the heavy snacking on?
Usually it's total junk food. But then what somebody does that's trying to justify eating, and they halfway agree with me, well, I'm just going to eat healthy stuff. And suddenly you start seeing what they're eating. Okay, they ate an apple with peanut butter and chocolate. And suddenly it's like, you're not serious.
There's the vegetable platter.
Yeah.
And there's that big thing of dip.
And then
right
a big
in the
thing
middle.
of dip.
Dip.
And then the cheese. And then it's the crackers.
And with the
and
dip.
it went from it's a few healthy vegetables to this is why I'm overweight.
I mean, the dip is pretty much just literal calories. It's like lard. You might as well be just scooping your carrots into lard. Next one. What do we got?
If you settle for food, you will miss your blessing. And that goes right back to 7. You felt like doing something at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and one of the easiest things was just eat, right? And you know what you did? You missed your blessing. If you settle for food, you miss your blessing.
It's kind of synonymous with, oh, I'm hungry. Maybe I missed my dinner. So come on, let me just go ahead and eat.
Maybe I missed my dinner. Yeah, that's a big one. They start reasoning why they need to. I know we're backing up a little bit.
If you're on a mission to lose weight, if that is at the top priority, if that's the top priority for you, your blessing could actually be, I missed dinner and I'm gonna go ahead and not snack and wake up happy.
Yes, because look at what you've done. Over a period of years, you have eaten more than you needed, day after day after day. Somebody comes in to help you, maybe even you yourself just realize it, and you realize, I'm not going to eat after 7:30. I don't need to. And then one night you get hungry or you miss dinner and you're like, well, I got to eat now. And you know what I would say to that? Yeah, go ahead and eat. Eat the corn dog that you have worn on your hips since the state fair in 1998.
Stop swinging them hips.
Yeah, eat that.
Eat that.
You're eating. Some people think, well, I'm going to starve. No, you're a walking food bank. You've got food on your body from Taco Bell when you were a senior in high school, and you ain't eating that. Go ahead and eat that tonight.
Since your senior year in high school, that Taco Bell has not gone anywhere.
It's not gone anywhere. It's been on your thighs.
It's been on your hips.
And hips.
Stop swinging them hips.
For 20 years. And you think, oh, if I get hungry, I miss dinner. I got to eat now. And please don't misunderstand. It is hard. Yeah, it's miserable. It's no fun.
Hey, we're smiling here.
I get that. It's no fun.
It's no fun. That is no fun.
It's no fun.
When you legitimately feel hungry.
But you ate Taco Bell when you didn't eat it. Taco Bell. You ate it. Day after day after day. You ate it. You had your fun. Are you ever going to come back and say, you know what? I had my fun. It's time to live a life. It's time to live a life.
Not freedom.
Yeah, not be bound up by this and everything's having to work harder and I got this fat on my body.
Bring in the fat block.
It's on my hips. It's on my neck.
Oh, no.
It's around my heart.
Not the neck.
It's wearing on my knees.
Yeah.
And this is Taco Bell from 25 years ago, and you're complaining that you're hungry. I know you are, and I know it's no fun, but eat this tonight.
You're pulling an Oprah.
Isn't that real, though? Isn't that true? What are we saying that anybody has issue with right now? Nothing.
I've not heard anything.
That.
I've not heard anything.
You want to lose weight? Just do that. Eat the corn dog and the Taco Bell.
On this passionate rant that you've gone on, I have not heard anything that I'm like, that's not true. Eat it. Eat it by fasting.
Or miss your blessing.
Eat it by fasting until the next morning.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. I don't care if you forgot to eat and you didn't eat all day and it's 7 o'clock and you're like, oh, it's 7:30 and you're like, what am I going to do? You're going to suffer a little bit, and it's really good suffering.
It's good suffering.
Because if you choose not to suffer, you're going to miss your blessing.
That's
Go
good.
ahead and cry. Some people literally, they're going to eat because if they didn't eat, they would cry. They would cry because there's this brokenness, there's this hard thing they're in the midst of right now because they didn't have a good day anyway. And they had other issues, and they're going through trials and difficulty, and then they're sitting here with, I didn't even eat today. It would be crazy for me not to eat right now. No, it's crazy for you to eat when you're wearing all this food.
So you would, last thing we'll say is you would actually say, go ahead and cry.
Yes.
Go ahead and
you should cry.
And rend your heart.
What's wrong with crying?
Yeah, and I'm not being sarcastic here.
I'm not
genuine.
either.
Like,
it's a serious thing.
I got in my car. I was frustrated just at circumstances, and I just kind of let it out. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes that's healthy.
We don't want to do that, right? We feel that's too vulnerable, and
so
I get that.
let's medicate it instead.
Medicate it. I don't want to show my feelings. I don't want them to really come out. I don't want to be healed.
Let them out.
I just want to medicate with this stuff.
But let it out. Let the feelings out. Number 9. Trainer Joe Unfiltered. This one's getting unfiltered and passionate, but hopefully it's resonating. Hopefully it's refreshing. Number 9, what do you got?
Gratitude turns what you have into enough. But before we dig in on that one, some of you get some motivation from this, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. And you really don't know what to do. You're not going to be motivated to go through it. You're not going to receive regular accountability and encouragement, which is why I have a program called my 21-Day Transformation.
Of course.
If y'all haven't done that yet, I would really encourage you, check out my 21-Day Transformation so you can walk through this and really get what you need and get the breakthrough.
Virtual transformation. The link is in the description. And the average weight loss for the 21 days that someone goes through this is roughly...
For someone that's never been through it, and I say it that way because some people went through 10 of these, they love it. They've lost 100 pounds. Well, they're not going to lose as much as a new person probably.
Yep.
Is 11 pounds in 21 days. And we use an app. So you don't need Facebook. You do this through the Trainer Joe app
So
now.
average weight loss, 11 pounds.
11 pounds in 3 weeks.
Roughly in 3 weeks.
It's big. It's significant. But even greater than that is the mindset change that you get.
Love it. So guys, consider doing that if the value, the information that's being put out there is helpful to you and you want to go deeper, you want to go to the next level, you want to make this easier on yourself and clearer for yourself. Number 9, gratitude turns what you have into enough.
Yeah. I think it's good. I'm hearing more and more people talk about gratitude, being grateful. And that's true. I think that when we don't live a life of gratitude, we take things for granted. We feel entitled, and when you are having to make sacrifices, it really helps you if you look around and you see how blessed you are. The fact that, like we're talking about, how hard it is not to eat after 7:30, when you are sufficiently grateful, it's not nearly as hard because you're like, wow, I'm hungry right now, but the temperature in the house is fine because I have air conditioner. My health is pretty good. If it's not, think of something else you're grateful for. But there's plenty to look around and say, I'm so grateful. Then it allows you to do it. And I had one girl doing my program. She lost 65 pounds. And she said, one of the tips I would give anybody asking me that's trying to lose weight is to be grateful. And she said, I have begun praying every time I eat anything because it helps my perspective. I pray and I give thanks for not just the meal, but the in-between meal snack because I'm grateful for that. We tend to be entitled and indulgent.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. It almost, as I'm hearing this, as we're talking about it, it's like, if you can own, these principles, there's so much more here than just you lose the 50 pounds you want to lose.
Way more than that.
You are
That's secondary. Really
coming out a more quality person, a more whole quality person.
And I like to be careful with that because it doesn't mean... I watched one preacher talking about this stuff, Dr. Brown, I believe.
He's a good one, Doctor.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of weight. He's more extreme than us. Yeah,
he's lost a good amount of weight. The popular charismatic pastor.
I think that's him. Gray hair.
Dr. Michael Brown.
Yeah, older guy.
Yeah, I didn't know he's had weight loss.
All into it. He's more extreme than we are. But he talks about it.
In his weight loss, he's more extreme?
Yes.
Really?
He would not eat, like, I'm pretty sure I speak clearly. He would not eat an M&M. He would
Okay,
say,
he's extreme
why would I eat an M&M?
He's
That's
extreme
not
in
good
that
for
way.
you.
Okay, wow.
Where I'm like, I'm fine with an M&M. You know, I just want to be healthy and a healthy weight.
Yeah.
So you need to balance
I
that.
see
He would
what
be
you
like,
mean.
why would you ever eat that? But anyway, he talks about before he lost weight, when he was 80, 90 pounds heavier, he said, hey, God was using me. You know, I was seeking the Lord. So he's not saying I was a terrible person when I was heavier, and I get that. Yeah. And I don't ever want anybody to think I'm saying that. I don't think that. But like you said, I do think you're more usable. You're more qualified for certain things when you're not heavy. You can't be an airline pilot if you're that heavy. You know, you can't be a military pilot if you're that heavy, just like you need to have good eyes to be a pilot. There are certain things you're not going to be able to do if you don't control that. That's just the reality. And one is things, you're not going to live as long. You're not going to be able to do as many things. You're not going to be the example you want to be to your family. All that. So anyway, but the gratitude piece. And there's a verse in 1 Thessalonians that talks about rejoice in the Lord always, give thanks in all circumstances. And when I think of the difficulties, like you were saying, this is more than just weight loss. This is learning to give thanks in all circumstances. And when we take Bible verses and we decide how to apply them, I'm just like, can you be thankful when you didn't get quite enough to eat?
Yeah.
Can we be thankful not just when the great meal comes to our table, but 5 minutes before that? You know, it's like, I have no reason to be thankful until I have the food I want. There is that kind of an attitude. Why would I be thankful if I'm hungry? Why would I be grateful if they didn't give me as much food as I wanted? And there's a little bit of that in our culture.
Oh.
It's like, I'm entitled to the right food,
More than
prepared correctly with the right sauces. And I'm not immune from that when I have certain things I want. If I have a certain fish, I'd like some tartar sauce with it. If it's not there, I'm a little disappointed. But at the same time, we got to come on. Are you a grateful person, or is it just when things are going your way and exactly the way you want them to, and food is just a little area where you can look at that and you can say, oh, well, so we found an area where you're not really grateful.
Man, gratitude's a big one, dude. That's challenging. Man, if we can embrace this, if we can embrace the gratitude portion, that's a big one in the mental aspect of this. Number 10.
Yeah, number 10, a healthy weight. And this is big, and I know some people hear this, and I'm sure they're like, oh, that's putting, that's the toxic. A lot of people, this is the toxic thing, you make people feel bad or whatever. But number 10 is a healthy weight can be reached and maintained by anyone.
So you're putting your stake in the ground. That is an absolute.
By anyone. And I think we touched on this. I don't know if we touched on this in the episode 1 through 5, but it seemed like we talked about it recently. And we gave our disclaimers and all that because I understand for some people, it may not make sense for them to go on a weight loss journey.
I think it was
because of other things going on in their life.
We talked about it in the Oprah episode, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And I'm okay with that. There may be people that say, Joe, I don't know whether I could do this or not, but I'm not going to do it. And their reasoning, I might be okay with that. I'm not saying this needs to be the number one thing in your life. I'm not. But what I am saying is, if it is the number one thing in your life, it'll get done. And the reason I say that is because so many people think they can't solely because they're not willing to be uncomfortable. And that's what I want to help them get past.
There's a lot of information and stuff, media, turn on TV that feeds you. Here's giving you not necessarily an excuse, but just here's a reason why you can kind of stay overweight, why you can succumb to your struggles. But if you can shift things around, you can do it. Anyway, I agree. Anyone and everyone can do it.
Who would we say, if somebody said that's not true, what's an example they would give of somebody that can't, do you think? Well, this person can't.
I mean, you came over to our show on our YouTube channel, a different YouTube channel, and I just remember you...
Go ahead and say it, the Paul and Morgan Show.
The Paul and Morgan Show. You came over, and I just remember so many in the comments were not happy with you, and they were giving their reasons why you just made it too black and white, too oversimplified.
Too black and white, oversimplified.
Here's why it's not gonna work, Joe. This is why it's not gonna work for me. And then is the medications, the pregnancies, the post pregnancies.
What do we hear? What do we hear that says
the
here's who
genetics.
can't do it?
Yeah.
Somebody with the genes, and you know when I hear a lot that's interesting, I can't afford it. And I'm like, what are you saying you can't afford? Because I've done talks on that too, that you don't need time to lose weight and you don't need money to lose weight. How much does it cost to say no to dessert? How much time does it take not to eat a second helping? How much time does it take to not eat after 7:30? How expensive is it not eating any food after 7:30? Because, and we're going to do a talk on that. Who's the chef guy that I mentioned this morning?
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, we'll be doing a talk on him soon because he's recently lost some weight, and he said some things about what he eats and stuff. But that goes along with this, and the issue is some people are like, well, I have to buy organic, healthy, expensive food to lose weight. No, you don't. That's ridiculous, But you do need to be willing to eat differently than you have. And a lot of times the only issue is, well, here's what I like. Here's the way I like to feel. And that's why you're 50 pounds overweight. If you're not willing, and I didn't mention this verse earlier, at the don't eat after 7:30, Proverbs 23:2, put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Another version said, if you're a big eater, put a knife to your throat. The woke weight loss culture, it just wants to be sweet and nice and whatever, and we don't like absolutes. Our culture does not like an absolute. Just don't do it. Don't eat after 7:30. Just lose the weight. We hate that, which is like the slogan, just do it. Nobody wants to hear that anymore.
No,
but I think there is a place for that. And I think for some people, they need to hear, you don't have an excuse. You should go lose weight, lose it all, get to a healthy weight, and live your life. But the woke crowd really is irritated with that, and I just think it's appropriate. I think it's appropriate to say that, to believe that, and to encourage that, rather than what's affirming.
Rather than affirming.
Affirming, you're right. You can't do it. Let me affirm you. You can't do this. Yeah. Why would you put that pressure on yourself?
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying.
I knew you would,
guys. Take what Trainer Joe just said as him giving you permission to say, I'm cutting out every excuse and I'm going to do it.
I think that's a great point. I'm giving you permission. Paul's giving you permission. Give yourself permission to do this.
All right, so there was 6 through 10. What do you guys think? Which of those resonated with you the most? And you're like, okay, yes, I needed that and I'm going to kick some butt. You've gotten the permission from Trainer Joe. Did you disagree with any? And you want to discuss it in the comment section? That's what the comment section is for. We want to hear where you guys are at with this. So drop the comment. Love you guys. Trainer Joe. Train your brain.
And transform your body.